Hello students, today I am going to begin a new chapter, magnetic classification of substances. Till now we have studied magnetic effect of electric current, and from that we know that electric current produces magnetic field. Means what is the source of magnetism? It is the electric current which produces the magnetic field. Now, have you thought what is the source of magnetism in case of a bar magnet? As you know that a bar magnet, it producing its one end is acting as the north pole, other end is acting as the south pole, and this bar magnet produces the magnetic field. Have you thought what is the source of magnetic field of the bar magnet? Because here there is no current. You can see here there is no wire which is wound around it and producing the electric current. Till now we have studied that the magnetic field magnetism is produced by the electric current. But in the bar magnet there is no wire, there is no current anywhere. Then how it can produce the magnetic field? What is the source of magnetism here? So the source of magnetism is atom. The ultimate source of magnetism is the atom. It's clear? Here ultimate source, it is the ultimate source of magnetism. Magnetism in any substance. In any substance is atom. Are atoms which are constituting to that substance. Atoms which constitute to that substance. This is the ultimate source of magnetism in any substance. Now, what is the source of magnetism in the atoms? Because atoms also don't carry any current. So, what is the source of magnetism in an atom? So, if you see a simple atom, so you can see here in atom there is a proton and neutron present inside the nucleus, and electrons are moving around the nucleus in certain closed orbits. Electrons are moving around the nucleus in certain closed orbits. Here this is the K cell, in which there will be 2 electrons, then this is the L cell. Now see here you know that this is the structure of an atom. Whatever be the substance, the structure of atom will be like this. Inside the nucleus, which is the central part of an atom, there will be the proton and neutrons, except the hydrogen atom. Hydrogen atom is having only one proton, there is no neutron, and electrons are moving around the nucleus. Now you can see here in every atom electron is having the orbital motion. Electron has orbital motion. Orbital motion means it is moving in its orbit. It is moving in the K cell or in the L cell or in the M cell, orbital motion. Besides the orbital motion, electron also has spin motion. Electron also have spin motion. They can spin in anti-clockwise direction or clockwise direction. It is clear. In every orbital there will be 2 electrons, and they can spin in, one will spin in clockwise direction and other will be the in anti-clockwise direction. Now inside the nucleus, protons are vibrating about their mean position. Protons are vibrating. about mean position, or you can say that only protons are vibrating. It's clear, protons are vibrating. So these are the three factors which are responsible for the magnetism in any atom. What is the source of magnetism in any atom? It is these three sources. As you know that electron is having the orbital motion, it is moving in the orbits, it is moving in the cell. An electron is a charged particle. When it will move, it will constitute the electric current. Constituting the electric current means producing some magnetism. It's clear. What is the measure of that magnetism? So as we know that magnetism is measured by the magnetic moment. Magnetism produced by any source is measured by magnetic moment. It's clear. For example, if you have to compare two magnets, that which one is the stronger magnet? So one which is having greater magnetic moment. About this you know, magnetic moment M equals to I into A. So electrons have the orbital motion, therefore they will produce the electric current because the electron is a charged particle. When they will produce the electric current, what will happen? Magnetic field will be produced. When magnetic field will be produced, so that magnetic field can be measured by their magnetic moment. Means what is the measure of the magnetism which is produced by the orbital motion of electron? That is the orbital magnetic moment. That is orbital magnetic moment. Magnetic moment, mm means magnetic moment, which is very very small, which is almost negligible. It's clear. Orbital magnetic moment is not significant. Now electrons also have the spin motion. They can spin within the orbital in anti-clockwise or in the clockwise direction, and this spin motion will also produce the magnetism. And what is its measure? It can be measured by spin magnetic moment. And this spin magnetic moment, it is significant moment. Spin magnetic moment is significant. Orbital magnetic moment is almost insignificant, negligible, so that can be neglected, but the spin magnetic moment cannot be neglected. Now within the nucleus, neutrons are vibrating, therefore their vibrational motion will produce the electric current. And when electric current will be produced, magnetism will be produced. Its measure will be the nuclear magnetic moment. So these are the three sources of magnetism in an atom. One is the orbital motion of the electron, other is the spin motion of the electrons, and third is the vibrational motion of the protons inside the nucleus. And therefore in any atom there are the three types of magnetic moment. One is the orbital magnetic moment, spin magnetic moment, and nuclear magnetic moment. And among these, this one is the more effective. It is significant, while other two are negligible. It's clear. At our level we can neglect them. Now see here, so in every atom is the source of magnetism, it producing the magnetism. Now see here, there are some atoms in which the equal number of electrons are spinning in the clockwise and anti-clockwise direction. There are some atoms in which equal number of electrons are spinning in clockwise and anti-clockwise direction. Therefore, magnetism which is produced due to anti-clockwise motion will be neutralized by the clockwise motion, because spinning in opposite directions, so producing magnetism in the opposite direction. Therefore what will happen? Because of their spin motion, there will be no net magnetism. Already we have assumed these two orbital and nuclear magnetic moment zero. So such atoms will have the zero magnetic moment. Such atoms in which the equal number of electrons are spinning in opposite direction. Atoms in which electrons are in which equal number of electrons are spinning in opposite direction will not have any net magnetic moment. Those atoms will not have any net magnetic moment, means the atoms will be unmagnetized. And when these atoms will be unmagnetized, then what will be? The substance which is composed by such atoms, that will also be unmagnetized. Substance which is composed by such type of atoms, whose atoms are not have any net magnetic moment, which will be unmagnetized. It is clear? And why these atoms will have no net magnetic moment? Because these two we have already assumed negligible. Net significant magnetic moment, significant magnetism is produced by spin motion. So if equal number of electrons are spinning in opposite directions, so what will happen? They will neutralize the magnetism produced by each other, magnetic field produced by each other, and such atom will not have any net magnetic moment, means we can say that they will be in the unmagnetized state. It's clear? They will not be magnetized. But there are some atoms, unequal number of electrons are spinning. Unequal number of electrons are spinning in both directions. In both directions. And when unequal number of electrons are spinning in both directions, then there will be a net significant spin magnetic moment. There will be a net magnetism because of the spin motion, and such atoms will be not simple atoms, they will be the magnetized atoms. It is clear? Such atoms will not be simple atoms, they will be magnetized atoms. But their magnetic moment is randomly oriented. Therefore, such substances whose atoms are itself magnetized, whose atoms are atomic dipoles, such atoms which are having the net magnetic moment in which unequal number of electrons are spinning in both the directions, so they will have a net magnetic moment. Such atoms will have a net magnetic moment. It's clear? Means those atoms will be like atomic dipole. Atoms will be like atomic dipole. Means they will be atomic dipole that is producing the magnetic moment, that is producing the magnetism. So such atoms in the unmagnetized state, in case of such atoms, in case of such substances which are composed by this type of atoms, these atoms are disoriented. And when they are disoriented, they are randomly oriented, it will be in the unmagnetized state. This substance will be in the unmagnetized state. But suppose anyhow we can orient all these atoms in the definite direction. Anyhow we can orient all these atoms in the definite direction so that they contribute their magnetism in the same direction. Then what will happen? This substance will be the maximum magnetized. It will be maximum magnetized. It cannot be magnetized more than this. Means we will say that it has achieved the magnetic saturation condition. Magnetic saturation condition means it is the maximum magnetized. It cannot be further magnetized. It is clear. So see here, from here it is clear that besides current, what is the source of magnetism? Source of magnetism in any substance, it is the atoms itself. There are three factors which are producing the magnetic field in any atom. One is the orbital motion, second is the spin motion, third is the vibrational motion of the protons. Out of these three motions, the magnetism which is produced due to the spin motion is significant. The remaining two are negligible. As we measure the magnetism by the magnetic moment, therefore orbital magnetic moment, nuclear magnetic moment is negligible. Only the significant one is the spin magnetic moment. In an atom, magnetism comes from where? From the spin magnetic moment. Now, if there are atoms in which the equal number of electrons are spinning in both the direction, then their spin motion will produce equal magnetic field, equal magnetism in opposite direction, equal magnetic moment in opposite direction, and due to that, such atoms don't have any net magnetic moment. Such atoms will not have any net magnetic moment, and thus that substance will also be unmagnetized. The substance which is composed by such type of atoms will be in the unmagnetized form. It is clear? We can produce magnetism only when, if we change their magnitude of the motion. If we accelerate one motion and deaccelerate the other motion, only then what will happen? The such atoms will magnetize. Means the magnetism will be induced in such atoms. There are some other type of atoms in which the unequal number of electrons are spinning in both the directions. When unequal number of electrons are spinning in both the direction, what will happen? Here the net spin magnetic moment will not be zero. There will be a significant magnetic moment because of the spin motion, and then such atoms will behave like a atomic dipole, which we represent like this. This arrow shows the direction of their magnetic moment. In the ordinary conditions, the substances which are consisting such type of atoms, means whose atoms are itself atomic dipole. So their magnetic moment is randomly oriented. Randomly oriented means magnetism produced by them is neutralized by the other, and there will be no net magnetic moment of this substance. There is no net magnetic moment of this substance. It is clear? But here you can see, if anyhow we can orient their magnetic moment in the same direction, or largely most of the atomic dipoles are oriented largely in the same direction, then that substance will acquire a net magnetism, because then it will not be completely destroyed, and then it will acquire a net magnetism when largely most of the atomic dipoles are directed in the same direction. In case if all the atomic dipoles are oriented in the same direction, then it has acquired the maximum magnetism. It cannot be further magnetized. It's clear? It has reached in the magnetic saturation condition. It's clear? Now see here, as we know that every substance, whether it is the substance of wood, as you know that the substances which can be magnetized, that is the iron, Fe, which symbol is Fe, or steel, these substances can be magnetized. Have you thought that wood can be magnetized? Have you thought that plastic can be magnetized? Whether we can magnetize these substances or not. Can we magnetize water? It's clear. Water can be magnetized or not. Or some gas, suppose the sulfur dioxide gas, it can be magnetized or not. Oxygen gas can be magnetized or not. So see here, as you know that the source of magnetism in any substance, it is the atom. Source of magnetism in any substance, it is the atom. And you know that whether it is the atom of iron or of steel or of wood or of plastic or of water or of sulfur dioxide, in every case the composition of matter is atom is same. In every case all atoms are composed in the same way. Therefore, they may also have some magnetism, or if they are not having some magnetism, you place them in the external magnetic field. What will happen? Their spin motion will be altered, and when spin motion will be altered means we can induce magnetism here. It was not earlier magnetized. Its magnetic moment was zero earlier, but after placing it in the external magnetic field, I have altered their clockwise and anti-clockwise motion. One motion has accelerated, other had deaccelerated. So what will happen? Magnetic moment will be induced here. It is clear? Or if you place such atoms in the magnetic field, in them the magnetic moment which was earlier there, that can be increased. So here you can see whether it is the atom of iron or steel, all are of same type. All the atoms of these substances are of same type. Whatever be their state, whatever be their, they are conductor or not insulator. In every case, atom's composition is same, and the ultimate source of magnetism is atom. Therefore, these substances can also be magnetized. We can magnetize these substances also, not only to the iron and steel. It's clear? Up to now, you have studied that the magnetic materials are one which can be attracted by magnet. Magnetic materials are one which can be attracted by magnet. That's why we take iron, steel as the magnetic material. But aluminum is also a magnetic material. Wood is also a magnetic material. Plastic is also a magnetic material. We can induce magnetism in them. Magnetism can be induced in them. It is clear? Though it will be very feeble, that will have no practical utility, but the magnetism can be induced. Therefore, every material, every substance, whatever be the state of that substance, is a magnetic material. Every substance, whatever be the state of that substance, whether it is solid or it is liquid or it is gas, is a magnetic material. Is a magnetic material. It's clear. Up to now we have studied that only iron and steel we have considered as the magnetic material. Nickel, cobalt, these we have studied as the magnetic material. But no, all the substances, whatever be the state of that substance, it is a magnetic material. And why? Because the source of magnetism in any substance, it is the atom. And composition of atom of any substance, of every substance is same. Composition of atoms of every substance is same. Therefore, if we can induce magnetism here, then it can be induced for the atom of plastic also. It can be induced in the atoms of wood also. It can be induced in the atoms of water also. It's clear? Here water molecules are also made up of hydrogen and oxygen atoms. It is clear. So it can be induced everywhere. So from here we know that every substance is a magnetic material, and these substances can be classified into three parts. These magnetic substances can be classified into three parts. So what are those three parts of the magnetic materials? So that you can see here. Magnetic materials can be classified materials can be classified in three parts, or we can say from the point of view of magnetism, we can classify the substances into three parts. From point of view of magnetism, view of magnetism, substances can be classified in three parts. It's clear. So first thing is this, that every substance is a magnetic material, whatever be the state of that substance. It may be in the solid state or liquid state or gaseous state. Till now we have assumed that only iron, steel, nickel, cobalt are the magnetic material, but that is not the correct. Every substance is magnetic material. These substances are producing a strong magnetism, that's why we treat them as the magnetic material. But others are also producing the magnetic field, and they are producing a feeble magnetic field that is having no practical utility. So see here, what are these? One is the diamagnetic material. Diamagnetic material. We will discuss one by one. Then other is the paramagnetic material. The magnetism which is produced by these two materials is very feeble, and that is have no practical utility. Producing feeble magnetism. When placed in the external magnetic field, in a magnetic field region, when we place such substances in the magnetic field region, in them a very weak, a feeble magnetism is induced. Third is a ferromagnetic material. And they strongly magnetizes when placed in the magnetic field region. Strongly magnetizes when placed in magnetic field region. You can see here what are the ferromagnetic materials, some examples. So you remember this because this is of very great utility, that is iron, nickel, cobalt. These are the ferromagnetic material. It is clear. What are the examples of the paramagnetic material and diamagnetic material? So diamagnetic material, you remember the example here, it is bismuth. Bismuth is the example of diamagnetic material. Zinc, copper, silver, these are the examples of diamagnetic material. Now paramagnetic material, aluminum, sodium, it's clear, platinum, antimony. So these are the examples of paramagnetic material. So here we will remember one example in diamagnetic and paramagnetic. But in ferromagnetic material, iron, nickel, cobalt, all these are the ferromagnetic material which magnetizes strongly when placed in the magnetic field region. Now see here, so this is the every substance, whatever be the state, it can be classified from the point of view of magnetism under these three headings. Either it will be this or this or this. To any one part, to any one material it must belong. It's clear. Now see here, what are the properties of diamagnetic, paramagnetic and ferromagnetic material. So you see here, what are diamagnetic material? Diamagnetic material are those which magnetizes feebly opposite to the magnetizing field. Diamagnetic material. Magnetic material. What is the meaning of diamagnetic material? These substances magnetize feebly opposite to direction of magnetizing field. Magnetizing field means, magnetizing field means, suppose the magnetizing field is this, whose magnetic flux is going in this direction. When we place a diamagnetic material, I have placed a diamagnetic material here. It's clear. Here this is the magnetizing field, you can see here. These are the lines of force of the magnetizing field. Now when we will place a diamagnetic material here, what will happen? It will magnetize opposite to the direction of magnetizing field. What does it mean? Its magnetic flux, the magnetic flux which is produced due to the induced magnetism in this, will flow in what direction? Will flow in the opposite direction. Will flow in the opposite direction. And when it will flow in the opposite direction, what will happen? It will reduce the magnetic flux density inside. It will reduce the magnetic flux density inside the material. Inside the material, magnetic flux density will be reduced, while outside it will be more. It's clear. Therefore, when diamagnetic material, are placed in magnetic field region, then they reduce the magnetic induction in that region. In that region, they will reduce the magnetic induction in which they are kept. It's clear. But this reduction will be very feeble. Why it will be very feeble? Because they are only feebly magnetized. These substances magnetizes feebly. Therefore, this reduction will be very less. Means if we see that the magnetic induction in the air, it is B naught, and magnetic induction after inducing magnetism in this is B. Magnetic induction after inducing magnetism inside the diamagnetic material is B, then B will be less than B naught. B will be less than B naught. But there will be a feeble reduction. This will be a very feeble reduction. It's clear? Here it is feebly reduced. Now see here paramagnetic material. In paramagnetic material, what are the examples of diamagnetic material? So already I have told that bismuth, zinc, copper, silver, these are the examples of diamagnetic material. It's clear? These are the examples of diamagnetic material. Now you see the paramagnetic material. Paramagnetic material. So paramagnetic material when placed in the external magnetic field, placed in the magnetizing field, not in the external magnetic field, placed in the magnetizing field. It's clear. When they are placed in the magnetizing field, then they magnetize feebly in the direction of external magnetic field. Magnetizing feebly in the direction of external magnetic field means they will contribute the flux due to the induced magnetism. They will contribute the induced magnetic flux in the same direction as the direction of magnetizing flux. This is the direction of, from green pen I have drawn the direction of magnetizing flux, and in that magnetic field I have placed this paramagnetic material. So it will also magnetize in the same direction but feebly. Therefore, net magnetism inside this will be slightly more than which is outside. The net magnetism inside the paramagnetic material will be more than the magnetizing field, means B will be slightly more, but it will not be much more. It will be only slightly more. It is clear? Here, what are the examples of paramagnetic material? Aluminum is the best example of the paramagnetic material. Others are sodium, platinum, these are also the paramagnetic material, but aluminum is the best. It is clear? Now, after this ferromagnetic material. In ferromagnetic material, we can say that it is the strong paramagnetism. It is strong paramagnetism. When they are placed in the magnetizing field, what will happen? They will strongly magnetize, and strongly magnetize means the magnetism will be very high. Means if you take a piece of iron and place in the magnetizing field of 1 Tesla, then what will happen? Inside the iron, magnetic field will become 5000 Tesla. 5000 Tesla means it will increase this much. It will increase by this much. It is hugely magnetized. It is clear? So, when ferromagnetic materials are placed in the external magnetic field, they hugely magnetize in the direction of the magnetizing field. And when they will hugely magnetize, what will happen? They will contribute a large amount of magnetic flux. Contributing the large amount of magnetic flux in the same direction as the direction of magnetizing flux. Therefore, inside the ferromagnetic material, magnetic induction will be much more than the magnetizing field. Means B will be much more than B naught. It's clear? What are the examples that you know? Iron, nickel and cobalt. It's clear? Fe3O4, that we say the magnetite, that is also the ferromagnetic material. It's clear? And because of this property that they magnetizes hugely in the direction of external magnetic field, ferromagnetic material have a very much utility, very great utility in the magnetism. They have very great utility in the magnetism. While the paramagnetic material, diamagnetic material, they produce a feeble magnetism. And producing feeble magnetism, that's why there is no practical utility of these materials. So, all of you, what is the conclusion of this lecture? Number one, every substance, whether it is in the solid state or in the liquid state or in the gaseous state, it is a magnetic material. And why? Because the ultimate source of magnetism in any substance, it is the atom. In atom, there are the three sources. One is the spin motion of electron, orbital motion of electron, and vibrational motion of proton. Out of these, spin motion is contributing a significant magnetism. Those atoms which are having equal number of electrons in opposite direction, in them there will be no net magnetism. While those atoms in which unequal number of electrons are spinning in the opposite direction, they will have a net magnetism. Their atoms will be the atomic dipoles. But whether the substance is made up of unmagnetized atoms or it is made up of magnetized atom, whether the substance is made up of unmagnetized atom, means those don't have initial magnetism, or it is made up of magnetized substances, magnetized atom, means whose atoms are itself magnetized. On placing in the magnetic field, they will be magnetized. They will be magnetized. And since the composition of all the atoms is same, whether it is of paramagnetic material, ferromagnetic or diamagnetic, therefore every substance is a magnetic material. It will come under one in these three. Out of these three, it will come under one class. So, in this lecture, only up to here. In the next lecture, we will discuss the other things.